If you're a person, if you're like, if you're that poor lady who's the White House press secretary,
Worst job on earth.
worst job.
Worst job.
It's the worst job.
Talk to us about what that pressure looks like.
I mean, it's pretty high. You know, it's a cook. I mean, the job is already a cooker pressure. It's already incredibly difficult, and to be the first to add that on top of what a difficult job. Some people have said it's the hardest job in the White House. It's a hard job in whatever. People would say that to me.
Would you say that?
I'd be like, yes, it is. Thank you. What was happening with leadership in the Democratic Party and how it was truly, as my former colleague, communications director Ben LeBolt said, it was a firing squad.
She's not done yet, guys, because Karine Jean-Pierre is still in the wild. She's gearing up for her interview with MSDNC to replace the now fired Joyless Reed. Now, obviously, I'm kidding, and I have no idea whether or not that's going to happen, but I think that she would be a good fit alongside her best bud, Jen Boring behind Psaki, the other liar-in-chief. Karine Jean-Pierre is probably one of the biggest liars I've ever seen on television throughout my entire life, even more so than Joe Biden. Imagine you're hired to lie on someone's behalf. And honestly, if that's what she was hired for, I'd say many would argue that she actually did a phenomenal job. And Joyless Reed actually didn't even lie as much as Karine. She was just a hack and a race hustler and a complete moron. Karine Jean-Pierre was much more calculated in her lies and was very consistent with her lies. Even when she was contradicting herself, you have to be a special type of talent to be able to pull that off. So kudos to Karine. But now she's turning on the Democrats because she's mad, salty that they threw Joe Biden under the bus. We also got Jesse Waters over here roasting her. So without further ado, I want to go ahead and react to what she has to say. We'll get into Jesse Waters a little bit later.
Personally, I think what was the toughest thing to see in the 3 weeks was there was a disconnect for me. What was happening with leadership in the Democratic Party and how it was truly, as my former colleague, communications director Ben LeBolt said, it was a firing squad. And I had never seen anything like it before. I'd never seen a party do that in the way that they did. And it was...
Well, yeah, it's because they didn't want to lose their jobs, but they should have got rid of them sooner. Let's keep going.
Hurtful and sad to see that happening. A firing squad around a person who I believe was a true patriot, a person who I believe did everything that he can for this country, a person who I believe, as I mentioned,
open borders and pardoning his son and a bunch of people on the January 6th committee. Yeah, a true patriot, Karine.
Before has done more in one term than most presidents had done in 2 terms, historical things. And I was shocked by what I was seeing.
And Karine, just to clarify.
Can I get some examples? Like, what the hell are you talking about? What, Inflation Creation Act, the Green New Deal, the Green New Scam? Like, what did he do that was so astounding? Start a bunch of new wars by trying to get Ukraine to join NATO, something that Russia said, hey, if you do this, I'm invading Ukraine. He already said he was going to do it, and they literally triggered this man into doing it. It's all Joe Biden's fault. Afghanistan withdrawal. Let me stop.
Biden's or other Democrats and Democratic leadership coming out against Biden.
Yep, I had never seen anything like that. That was, if you're asking me, the thing that I saw in those 3 weeks, that was shocking. Shocking.
That debate performance was shocking, even though I knew Joe Biden was old and decrepit and 5.5 feet in the grave. It was still shocking to see him fumble the debate bag so freaking hard. Like, this was a fumble akin to the Falcons versus the New England Patriots fumble, where they were up 28-3 and still managed to lose the freaking game. Donald Trump had everything against him, and Joe Biden still managed to fumble what could have been an easy smear campaign. If Kamala Harris could do it, why the hell couldn't you? In a weird way, it's almost like saying that Sleepy Joe got beat by a girl, because Kamala Harris, even though she was a obviously weak performer, she still performed better in the end than Sleepy Joe. Then again, Joe Biden might have got some of them old school legacy votes that didn't come out for Kamala, so who the hell knows?
And instead of coming together to really be unified and trying to figure out how do we save our democracy, how do we fight back. That's what I was seeing. And, you know, that's what we decided to do for 3 weeks. And, you know, it was truly, truly unfortunate. And I think it hurt us more than I think folks realized to have done that.
So what should they have done, Karine? Just allow Joe Biden to just keep it running? Like, just let it play out and watch him get cooked in the general election and potentially lose more seats in the House and the Senate than what he had been saying. Guarantee they would have still been saying, oh, well, you know, it was the mis and disinformation. You know, he was like the greatest president ever. And, you know, there was nothing that we could have done to really change his outcome. Guarantee they would have said something stupid and brain dead as hell, because that's what Karine represents. Obviously, she is a representation of her leader, Sleepy Joe Biden. He has no brains left, and neither does she.
The job is already a cooker pressure. It's already incredibly difficult, and to be the first to add that on top of what a difficult job. Some people have said it's the hardest job in the White House. It's a hard job in the, whatever. People would say that to me.
Would you say that?
I'd be like, yes, it is. Thank you. Thank you, it is.
After Binder saw Trump swear in, she threw her TV out the window.
The last time I've watched the news
Don't rub it in.
was January 20th when I was at the White House. I've not watched the news. I have really tried to focus on self-care. I have deprogrammed myself so that I could be a civilian again.
You can't deprogram us.
What does that mean? Like, she's deprogramming herself to stop all that lying that she was doing on a regular basis? Because people, I mean, you play in people's face. I mean, they might just sock you one. I'm not saying that I would, but I'm saying a lot of other people would.
Self-care. I have deprogrammed myself so that I could be a civilian again.
You can't deprogram us. We remember Biden wandering around lost, speaking gibberish, shaking hands with ghosts. And the Binder calling it all a cheap fake, remember? Trump doesn't stop talking to the press. Biden hid at a bunker. Can Binder explain that?
Why Biden got to be walked off? This is so embarrassing. Even those 2 clips they just showed, even I hadn't seen those. Like, how many times has this happened?
And spoke to it himself. He was very honest. He was like, look, I don't speak as well as I used to. I don't move as well as I used to. He was very honest about what the American people were seeing.
Well, then why the hell are you trying to be the president again if you can't speak and move as well as you used to? I understand you get a little bit older, things slow down a little bit. But I mean, this guy was falling apart. He kept falling over. Like, come on, man. Like, he couldn't, everything just, like, at one point, he even, like, it's like he got stuck. He was like, like, you guys remember that?
Thanks to all the members of Congress and Homeland Security Secretary. I'm not sure
Like, what the hell was that?
So he never hid from that. As far as it comes to interviews, look, this was a different media landscape. It really was. He wanted to talk about issues, and it was very hard to have interviews where we were able to talk about issues.
A different media landscape? Every reporter wanted to interview the president. Biden said no. Then he botched the debate and got cooed. Binder still's hurt over it.
How y'all lost? Like, it's way more younger people that support the Democrats than the Republicans. You telling me that majority of people that's older and maybe even less experienced, I mean, maybe they're more experienced, but maybe less experienced with social media and the new media landscape, managed to kick y'all ass? How? That just means that Democrats were trash. It had nothing to do with the media landscape. The message that was being put out was just not there. People wasn't buying what y'all were selling.
There was a disconnect for me. What was happening with leadership in the Democratic Party, it was a firing squad, and I had never seen anything like it before. I'd never seen a party do that in the way that they did, and it was hurtful and sad to see that happening. A firing squad around a person who I believe was a true patriot. That was shocking. Shocking.
The hardest part of a coup is finding a good leader to replace the guy you backstabbed. Kamala, not the answer.
Nope.
I talk to a lot of Democrats and a lot of people since I've been here at Harvard say, who the hell do I look to?
I actually don't have anybody that I'm going to call out or put out there. I'm not. But I think that it is important it doesn't matter if you're a governor, Congress, senator, a local elected official.
Former vice president.
Former vice president. I want to see many voices. I don't just want to see one. I want to see many who can lead us through this time.
Here's the problem with the Democrat voices. Nobody wants to hear them. While they figure themselves out, Roseanne has some advice. Let's listen. We are at the point where anyone identifying as a Democrat at this point should just be pointed at and laughed at.
Yeah.
That's it. No more arguing. Just point and laugh.
Yo, that is the perfect way. I didn't know that was in there. I hadn't seen this whole clip, but exactly. That's the whole purpose. Again, for those who, hadn't figured this channel out yet, delegitimization. Okay, delegitimization is the key word of the fake news. Okay, people like Joyless Reed, Rachel Maddow, Jim Acosta, all these freaking woke people, Van Jones, make them look stupid, expose their lies, laugh at them. The cackling hens on The View is another huge one. Like, delegitimize. The problem is, if people aren't obviously smart enough to do the research themselves or don't understand what they're looking at, they might actually believe these people, and a lot of people do. It's up to people like me and a lot of people that's bigger and some smaller up-and-coming creators to get out there, expose the lies, do the research, and get on camera and make these fools look like the idiots that they are, the freaking dummy, classless clowns that they are. That's why they're trying to shut us down in general. Like, oh, well, who's going to control these people who are spreading mis and disinformation? Nobody's going to control us, first off. And secondly, you guys are the ones spreading mis and disinformation. You can't help it if the facts are against your side and it's inconvenient for your stupid little jobs where you just get up there and lie and just be dumb liberal propagandists every freaking day. And Karine Jean-Pierre is completely delusional here if she thinks that the Democrats and Sleepy Joe stood a freaking chance. They never stood a chance. Once Joe Biden ran again, said he was going to run again, the Democrats were doomed. If he would have stepped down, he probably still would have lost because the Democrats don't really have anybody good and they're not really supporting good issues right now. But they would have had a better chance. Maybe they could have won at least one swing state. Maybe like Pennsylvania or something, right? Maybe it could have been like a little bit of, a little bit of a nail biter. They could have had me sweating on election night. But no, instead, I was happy as hell all night. And I've been happy ever since November 6th. Like, it was 2, 3 o'clock in the morning when they said, the Associated Press said, look, it's over. Okay, we can't hide from it anymore. Trump won. Joe Biden got to get the hell out of the White House. Karine, you're fired. You're out of a job. Okay, get back out there and hope you can find somebody else woke as hell so that they can hire you and give you a job. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think that they were unfair to Sleepy Joe Biden, or were they correct to kick his ass the hell up out of the election and just let somebody else run? They were obviously wrong for trying to run Kamala, but do you think that they were right for getting Sleepy Joe out? Or maybe they should have just let him run. Maybe he earned it. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate you watching the Black Anomaly Rising channel. I'm out.
Do your damn homework. Try a little. Stop embarrassing yourself, womankind, and the American people by being so inarticulate and obviously uninformed.